Step into the vast studio of Diego Velázquez, court painter to King Philip IV, and feel the room breathe around you. This is Las Meninas, painted around 1656, a living theater of glances, gestures, and light. At first, it's a family scene. Attendants fuss over a princess, a dog naps, a painter works. But the longer you look, the stranger it becomes. Who exactly is being painted? Who is being watched? Velázquez doesn't just show a court. He stages a puzzle about vision, power, and presence that still captivates viewers centuries later. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps us keep creating more educational videos like this one. At the painting's heart stands the Infanta Margarita, a small beacon of pearl-white radiance. Her dress catches the brightest light, turning her into the compass of the entire composition. Notice how her stiff bodice and broad skirts read like architecture, while the soft highlights on silk flicker with movement. The two Meninas bow and bend toward her, their darker gowns forming a living frame that pushes the princess forward. Velázquez balances tenderness and ceremony, a child's poised stillness in the adult world's choreography. Even the subtle tilt of her head carries the poise of a monarch in training. On the left, Velázquez paints and pauses, turning to engage us. He stands beside a monumental canvas whose back looms like a stage wing. Palette in hand, he fixes us with a knowing glance. Are we the sitters, standing where the royal couple would be? His black attire is trimmed by crisp light, sculpting a quiet authority. On his chest, the Red Cross of the Order of Santiago, likely added later, signals noble rank. It's a daring self-portrait as maker and courtier, asserting the painter's intellect alongside the monarchy. Here, art itself steps into the center of power. To the right, reality snaps into candid focus. Two court dwarfs and a slumbering mastiff. One nudges the dog with his foot, a mischievous diagonal that electrifies the calm. Earthy browns and tawny fur ground the scene, counterweighting the princess's glow. Look closely at the dog's coat. Loose, dry strokes conjure weight, warmth, and sleepiness in just a few flicks. These figures are not ornamental. They anchor the room's human complexity. The court, with all its hierarchies, is also a place of personality and play, tiny, vivid interruptions in an otherwise ceremonial ballet. Mid-right, near the window wall, a duenna and a guard barely emerge from shadow. Their vertical silhouettes steady the composition, like quiet columns bracketing the action. They stand near the source of light that rakes across the room, describing space with illumination rather than outlines. Notice how Velázquez spares details, letting a few crisp edges and glints of fabric suggest full forms. The effect is both architectural and atmospheric, a corridor of air, a murmur of protocol. Their presence says court life is watchful, measured, and always aware of who stands where and why. At the back wall, a tiny mirror gleams with the blurred reflections of King Philip IV and Queen Mariana. If that's their likeness, then they stand in our spot, making us share the monarch's view. It's a breathtaking inversion. The painting looks back. Farther still, an open doorway reveals a lit figure on the stairs, José Nieto, mid-step in a suspended exit. This bright rectangle is the vanishing point that deepens the room into infinity. Mirror and door team up to split the space in two. The world of representation and the world we occupy, linked by a gaze. Las Meninas is Spanish Baroque at its most daring, naturalism fused with theater. Velázquez uses a limited, silvery palette and raking light to carve volumes out of shadow. He paints what the eye feels, edges soften into air, textures emerge from economical strokes, and perspective is suggested by light more than lines. The result is optical truth rather than photographic tidiness. Equally radical is the concept, a meta-painting about seeing, status, and authorship. In this studio temple, brushwork becomes thinking, and the act of looking becomes the subject itself. So who owns the center of this picture? The princess, the painter, or the invisible sovereigns reflected in glass? Las Meninas refuses a single answer. It is a living room of power and perception, where roles shift with every glance. Stand here as the monarch, the model, or the viewer. The painting adjusts, and the drama restarts. Velázquez leaves us in the best kind of uncertainty, the kind that keeps art alive. Thanks for exploring this masterpiece with us. Until next time, keep looking closely.